If you're struggling to attract and convert clients, it might be your branding and your graphics that is the problem. The truth is, if your key business graphics aren't strategic, aren't consistent, and aren't beautiful, you could be actually leaking clients in your business, not even attracting them in the first place. And so today I want to share with you 3 essential graphic types that are going to increase engagement in your business, increase your visibility, and help you convert more followers into clients. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to share with you one design hack that I think a lot of people forget that is probably costing you sales. And make sure you hit that like button if you're ready for your designs to stop leaking your clients and really utilize these 3 graphic types to grow your business. So hi, if we haven't met before, my name is Jacqui and I am a graphic designer who is obsessed with helping online business owners just like you create incredible branding and graphics that helps to grow your business rather than sucking your time, rather than overwhelming you, and actually helps you to build the business that you love. Okay, so let's dive into the 3 graphics that your business really needs and the things that you want to remember when you're creating these graphics to make sure they're actually hitting the mark. I feel like I'm saying actually a lot. Okay, so firstly, we've got the visibility boosters. These are the graphics that make your branding, so your visual branding, recognizable everywhere. So just as a little summary, your branding is wildly important. Your branding, your visual branding is what makes you recognizable. It's what makes you stand out from the crowd. It's what differentiates your business from another business, is what your visual brand looks like. It means that anything that your audience sees of your business, that's part of your visual brand, whether you've intentionally crafted it or not. So these graphics I'm going to share with you are really important that you've applied your branding to them. Otherwise, things are you're going to lose clients everywhere. And so first up is those visibility boosters. These are really important to be very intentional with. These are graphics like your Facebook covers, your Instagram pinned posts, your profile pictures, and your website graphics. These are the graphics that people are kind of seeing and they're making that first impression for your business. It's often the first thing someone will see when they're going to actually find out more about you. Someone might see you for the first time on a carousel or on a reel or something. When they actually go and look deeper and they're trying to find out about you, these visibility booster graphics are the ones that are going to be showing them what you're about when they're actually they're starting to get a bit vested in your business. So when they're actually going to your website or when they're finding your social media page or when they're looking at your Instagram profile for the first time, what are your graphics saying to them? What are those first graphics saying? So some of those graphics I mentioned, like the social media banner. So like your Facebook page cover, what does that look like? Is that intentionally speaking to your audience? Your pinned posts on Instagram. You can pin up to 3 posts at the top of your Instagram feed. And these graphics can say a lot about you. You can make these really branded. You can make these really intentional, and you can make these something that tell your brand story at an instant so that someone can actually get to know you straight away. Also consider things like your profile picture, so your Instagram display picture, your Facebook display picture, of your YouTube, like whatever is your display picture, think about that too. Design-wise, there's a few things I want you to be thinking about when you consider these visibility boosters. Firstly is consistency. You want a wide level of consistency, particularly across these graphics. You're going to hear me say consistency a lot in this episode because it's so important across everything, but particularly for these visibility boosters, because you can imagine if someone comes to they see a carousel and they're like, I want to learn more about this person, and they start to look at your visibility boosting graphics, and they might go to your Instagram grid and they might see your pinned posts. You want to make sure that the graphics and the branding, the fonts, the colors, style of these graphics is totally consistent with whatever they're going to find in the rest of your business. For example, if they then go to your website, they might see your website banner or the graphics there. Do they match? Do they feel like a consistent journey? Or is someone going to click across to your different Facebook pages, your Instagram page, or your website, and just feel confused? Are they going to be unsure of who you are, what you're about, and second guessing if they're in the right stage of the journey, if they've just clicked to the wrong website or clicked to the wrong page or clicked to the we want to make sure people feel so nurtured in their journey with you. So you need to have this huge level of consistency across these graphics. And also, because I say this to my students all the time in my programs and in my courses, the way I teach branding is that before you design too many graphics, you're actually considering what your graphics and your brand should look like. So you're actually stopping and saying, what do I want my brand to feel like? Who am I trying to attract? What do I want my business to represent? And then you're doing the research and you're conveying all of these things visually. And then you grab that visual conveying of your brand and you apply that to everything. And it means that when anyone looks at any graphic of your business, instantly it's conveying the right feelings. Instantly it's attracting the right audience. Instantly it's saying the right thing about your business because you've considered those things first. And then you've applied them to all those graphics, especially those visibility boosting graphics, because these are often some of the first graphics that someone's making opinions of your brand about. They're deciding, is this brand for me? Am I the right target audience? Is this the right price point? They're thinking about these things every time they see your graphics. So make sure you're thinking about this and you're applying that to your visibility boosters very consistently. So I want you, as a little bit action step right now, is to open up your Instagram feed or open up your Facebook page, whatever is your main visibility boosting platform, and take a look. Put yourself in the shoes of someone who hasn't seen you before. Maybe a friend has recommended you. Maybe they've seen one of your posts out in the world and they've come and they've found you, or they've clicked through and they've found your profile. What are your graphics saying? Does it look consistent to the rest of your branding? Does your pinned posts, are they consistent to the rest of your graphics on your Instagram? Are they consistent to the graphics you see on your website? Is everything telling that same story and taking them on a consistent journey? Because if it's not, you're likely going to lose people on that journey because they're going to click around and they're going to get confused. The messaging isn't going to be the same and they're going to be unsure of if they're landing on the right place because there's no consistency in that journey. So the next graphic that you're going to need for your business to make sure that you aren't losing clients is the engagement drivers. Engagement drivers are graphics that help people to stay interacting and engaged in your content, in your business, continuing to absorb your goodness, your expertise, your value, so that you're building trust so they can go on and purchase from you. If we just consider a really great Facebook cover, but don't then consider the engagement boosters, then we're not likely to actually build a long-term relationship with people. And I'm not actually sure what the current stats are, but even a couple of years ago, it took at least 7 interactions with your business for someone to begin to actually trust you and want to purchase from you. And I believe that number is only rising. And so we need to have lots of consistent graphics in our business, engagement drivers that capture someone from just seeing us for the first time and seeing our Facebook cover or seeing our pinned post or seeing our website, and helping them to get to know us, get to know our business, to build that trust, to build that know, like, and trust, so that they can then go on to purchase from us in the future. But they're not going to do that if those engagement booster graphics look haphazard, if they look unprofessional, if they're not consistent with the rest of your branding. So by engagement drivers, just to make sure that we're all picturing the same thing here, I'm talking about your classic Instagram posts, so particularly carousel, static posts, and even reels, things that are going to build that rapport with your audience. I'm talking about Instagram stories, which I don't recommend these being meticulously designed in Canva for your Instagram stories, but it's still important to bring in some of your branding into those Instagram stories. I've actually got a whole video on Instagram stories and I'm going to link here for you. And if you're listening on the podcast, I'll make sure I pop a link into the show notes for you. And if you're posting on other social media platforms or blogs, blog posts can convey this. Blog posts can act as engagement boosters, social, like Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, wherever you're showing up regularly. Making sure that these are well designed is important too. Some great things to consider with this is making sure that your text is quite large, that it's going to actually hook them in, rather than overwhelming your audience with lots of different pieces of text that have no real hierarchy. I've spoken about this a lot in some of my recent videos on carousels, so I'm going to link that here for you now. I recommend watching if you're unsure what I mean by using really large text or using a hook. It's very important that we hook people into wanting to pursue our content. Otherwise, you're just going to get scrolled past. We also want to make sure our content not just hooks the people in, but engages them, that it feels really easy to consume, whether that's a swipeable carousel post, whether that's a really easy to read caption, whether that's thinking about the size of your text, the readability of your fonts, making sure that your images are really, really easy to consume, because our audience, my audience, your audience, they are not usually looking for ways to waste their time, at least consciously. And so they're going to be clicking on, like, if they see you in the world, they're going to be scrolling past unless it captures their attention. And if you then capture their attention, but you're not considering well-designed graphics that are going to keep their attention, they're going to keep going. So what I'm talking about is using design principles like hierarchy to make sure you're taking your audience on a visual journey through what's most important, what's most relevant for them. So make sure you really think about that flow and prioritize that. And so next time you're designing a carousel post or a Facebook post, ask yourself these questions. Is this consistent? Is there a large hook? And is this easy to consume for my audience? Is my text too small or is it too large? Is my text readable or is this cursive font maybe not quite clear? Are the colors on here easy to read? Or if someone was to have their phone brightness down, would it get lost? Ask yourself these questions, because I find that whenever we're designing the graphic in Canva, we've jumped into Canva, we're making the graphic, you're literally just typed out that text so you know what it says. We often so easily forget to go back and double check if that text is actually readable. So go back and check if it's readable, then you can post that design. Make sure it passes those tests first, the consistency, hierarchy, hooks, all these things. Think about those before you post. And the third graphic you need if you don't want to let clients slip through your fingers is the sales converters. These are the graphics that are doing the selling for you, that are taking it from just, oh, this is a really nice Instagram post that's educating me on something in particular topic, to buy from me because I know my stuff and I'm incredible. We want your graphics to be saying these things, and they have the power to do that. So often I see people thinking, oh, I'll just do a random Canva graphic because I just can, like, it doesn't really matter. Just need to get it out there, put the stuff in, blah, blah, blah. No, we want to really consider the strategy behind this, because that's where the power lies. We can't just be creating, like, you and me I don't know about you, but I know me. I am very time poor in my business. I've got 2 kiddos. I'm running this business. I've got a family. I'm building a house. Like all these things are happening in my life. I don't have time. And I know that you probably don't have time to sit on Canva for hours only to create a graphic that's not going to get converted. That's just going to show up and take up space in your Instagram feed and get one like, maybe by your mum. Like we need to make sure that we're being really intentional about the graphics. Maybe taking a little bit longer to learn this stuff so that we can then do it well and do it well for the life of our business. Like I've been in business for 11 years now. The stuff that I learned 11 years ago hasn't gone to waste. I'm building on that all of the time. So I want to encourage you, just as a side note, if you're early in business, invest in learning this stuff because it's not just going to help you for the next post that you do. It's going to help you for the lifetime of your business. Even like I have retainer clients with my design studio and they are still editing some of their own graphics. Even though my team might design a template for them or design a graphic for them, they can't physically get us to do every single one of their posts because they're showing up multiple times a day on social media. So they might get us to do it one post and then they might edit that post and post it up again. So the skills that they've learned originally of how to design well, how to use design principles, how to make sure they have a really great brand, that's carrying on throughout the first year of business, the second year of business, they're 5 years in business, they're 10 years in business because they've invested in those skills earlier. And so before I get into just showing more about those sales converter graphics, I do want to make sure that you know I am running a masterclass very soon on the design tools that you need to grow your business to 100K or more. And so this masterclass is all about making sure that you're learning these things, that you know the DIY design mistakes that you could be making right now that are costing you sales, that you know how to actually design quickly in Canva so that you're not wasting hours only to end up posting a graphic that doesn't even get any results for your business, so that you have the actual templates that you can use and then actually know how to use them. I'm going to give live demonstrations so that you can create designs that are calling in your ideal client, that are making you feel proud of your business and that are stopping the time suck that Canva could be to your business if you're not using it correctly. So if you want to jump on that, make sure you head to whitedeer.com.au/design masterclass. I hope to see you there. Okay, so let's get back into the graphic type number 3 of the sales converters. So these are your graphics that are going to be making the sales for you, that are making that stronger push. So firstly, we've got things like lead magnets. These are the freebies that you might give to someone to say, hey, here's a really great piece of free content. Give me your email address. I'll send it to you. So you're building your email list. Then you can provide them a really quality piece of content that helps them to take the first step towards working with you. So if you're a photographer, it might be outfits to wear to your photo shoot. If you're a coach that was helping people with their parenting, you might share a freebie around 3 ways to get your kids to listen to you, like something that's kind of a really palatable first step for your audience, and then making a really great design around this that is consistent to your branding, that speaks to your expertise, that is really clear and easy for people to consume and looks professional. Because if your branding doesn't look professional, if your graphics, if your lead magnet, if your whatever you're putting out there doesn't look professional, people subconsciously think, are they really worth trusting? Are they a professional business because their graphics don't look professional? Is this just a little side hustle that I shouldn't trust? Whereas if you are a side hustle, you can still be a business that looks professional, that people trust in an instant rather than not. Like you can imagine if my background here was just really boring and plain and I didn't have like a really great YouTube cover and my thumbnail was looking a bit plain, you'd be like, okay, she might be kind of new in business. I might see what she has to say, but I probably wouldn't trust her fully on that. I might go to someone else as well. Whereas when you see something that's like all fancy and like all perfectly designed and hoo-ha, part of you just begins to trust it a little bit quicker. I might still be brand new in business for all you know. So I told you I'm not, but I might still be brand new in business for all you know, but because I look the part, you trust me a little bit quicker. So you can do the same in your business. Even if you're new in business, the branding you have and the designs you create can actually speak volumes to your professionalism and build so much trust so much quicker when you do it well. So making sure when you're designing a lead magnet for your business that it's designed well, it's consistent to your overall brand, it's readable, the fonts are readable, like everything actually just looks professional. Other graphics might be like really promotional social media posts, like here's my course or here's my lead magnet or here's my program or here's my coaching container. Like these are all like you can create really great promotional graphics for these, but again, they need to be consistent to your branding. So making sure you're really considering what my branding is so you can then apply that to your business. Other sales graphics might be like sales pages or landing pages you might have on your website. For me, for example, I use Kartra and I'm building a lot of sales pages on my website. These are pages people come to when I don't want to take them to my full website where they can get distracted by all the bits and pieces. I want them just to come to this one page that says, download this freebie, download this lead magnet because it is incredible. It just steps them through that. Or buy my course, it is incredible. Here's all the details. And the design of that is very intentional as well. And something that I actually recommend to my students is not just doing a design that's just cool, here's a design, my branding. But if you've got a particular offer, so say for example, I have a lead magnet, a webinar, and that will both lead towards a course that I have called DIY Design My Biz. That course is incredible. Love it. Not the point of what I'm trying to say right now. But I actually have a bit of like a sub-brandy logo for that brand. It's like a purpley logo. And in that branding, I kind of focus on purples and pinks and maybe a little bit of blue. That's in contrast to my other program, the Co-Creation Design Club, where I focus on purples as well, but a lot more green. And there's a little bit of a differentiation between those two brands. And that means that whichever program I'm promoting, I do my design slightly different. Like when I'm promoting my club program, the lead magnets for that, they're more green. When I'm promoting my DIY program, the lead magnets for that are more purple and more pink and more playful because it's a lower expense program than my Co-Creation Design Club. And so I make that brand look slightly more premium than my DIY brand. And so like there's all these different things we can think about when we do it intentionally. That means that when someone comes to my business and they start to see my different programs, subconsciously, this is not going to be a conscious thought that they have, but subconsciously they're going to be thinking, oh, this program might be more for me because I'm looking for more of a DIY, more less expensive program. Well, that one looks a bit too expensive. Maybe it's not quite for me because I'm just looking for something because I'm just starting my business. Like we think these things subconsciously, and you can convey that through your branding, through your graphics when you do it intentionally. And I think with those sales graphics, it's so important that they do that because it helps your audience to pre-qualify themselves, pre-qualify that you're in the right price point for them, pre-qualify themselves that you're the right audience for them, pre-qualify themselves that they're actually going to get along with you. Like if you see my branding and my graphics, I look kind of fun, playful, a little bit not quite taking things seriously. And that's what you get when you work with me. And so my audience, they often come to me because of the style and the way that I work and teach, because they're used to that, because they see that in my graphics. It implies what it's like to work with me. And when they get inside my programs, it aligns with what they think and it becomes a really beautiful experience for them. And you can do the same with your branding and your graphics too. So making sure those sales graphics are consistent with your branding, that they look really professional. So when they come to download your lead magnet, they're not just thinking, oh, are they professional or are they not? But they actually begin to trust you, build that rapport with you and go on to purchase from you. And now I want to share with you the most overlooked graphic technique that I said I would share with you at the start. And that is to add CTAs. CTAs mean calls to action. And this is something that I find so many people forget. They create this really great carousel post or this really great lead magnet or this really great something. And they forget to ask and tell people what their next step is. Always want to tell people what their next step is, whether that's just even just on a plain social media post. Your next step might be follow for more or like this post or share with a friend, or it could be something more obvious like comment X word because I want to get sent like this freebie, or go to the link in my bio and book a call, like something really specific. And even on your lead magnets, having that last page say book a call with me or use my course or join my webinar, like giving them a really, really clear next step is such a powerful tool because otherwise your audience is gonna be like, oh, that was cool. And you've done all the work to get them to read your carousel post or to download your lead magnet, and then they don't know what to do next. Add that CTA, and not only adding a CTA, but making it really clear. Make that button a different color than everything else in your design, even if it's slightly different to your branding colors. I don't love saying that because I love using branding colors, but I tried to use like, say for example, in one of my recent freebies, I think I did like a green button, which is a color I hadn't used in that freebie yet, but it was a color that was still within the rough realm of my branding. So doing something slightly different for that call to action helps it to stand out. Make it a button. Give it a little cursor image popping up on that button to help it stand out even more so. Make it a little bit larger. Make the heading a real hooky, like if you're doing a lead magnet, here's your next step, really large or something so that people know what that next step is. Otherwise, you're getting them there and then you're losing them. And that defeats the whole purpose of everything that we've worked on so far. So make sure you're always giving your audience a call to action. Speaking of call to actions, I did not plan this segue. My call to action for you on watching or listening to this is to grab a seat in my free masterclass, my design tools to get your business to 100K. This is a really, really important masterclass, especially if you are in your own business. If you're not hitting those 100K years yet, I want you to make sure that you're using design strategically to make that happen. I'm going to give you templates. I'm going to share with you design mistakes and how to fix them. I'm going to give you Canva shortcuts, all the things that you need to be able to know what your next steps are to create a business that is going to thrive rather than the one that you get burnt out by, that doesn't hit the goals and is not connecting with your audience and making you the sales that you desire. So again, just make sure you head to whitedeer.com.au/design masterclass, and I hope to see you there.